Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Ketmia.
And welcome to a birthday edition
Episode
of the This and That Chat. Well,
you sounded uncertain.
Well, technically, it lands on your birthday, but mine's not until next week.
And it's also not my birthday. My birthday already passed. So it's an in-between birthday episode. But it's a big birthday, so we had to celebrate it together.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So it's our 40th birthday. Woohoo!
Woo-woo! And we're excited? Question mark?
Are you not excited about your birthday? You're like birthdays.
I don't remember the last time I was really excited about birthdays.
Or anything.
Isn't
there some sort of trend that you told me that's going around that there's two kinds of people in a marriage?
Listen to me.
Good one.
Listen to me.
Zing.
Hold on. If you
should call this the zing episode.
If you're going to bring that up, you're going to have to do that video with me.
Heck no.
Yes.
Never.
Listen, okay, so here's the trend. And this is the irony in this, okay? The trend is that in every marriage, there's one boring person.
Which is?
AKA me.
Correct.
And one fun person, also known as Ketmia.
Correct.
And yet she won't do the video with me.
I've heard it say that it's the crazy person, not a fun person. That's a nice way to put it.
But, so do the video with me.
No, being crazy and fun has nothing to do with doing a video.
You're boring.
Sorry. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm the boring one and you're the fun one. In the Upside Down.
Okay. Yeah.
What's that show that was on TV that was like everything was not what it seemed?
I'm drawing a blank.
The Twilight Zone. Isn't that what the show was about?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. In the Twilight Zone.
Okay.
You're fun.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of a scary episode.
Anyways, so we're celebrating our 40th birthday this year.
Yes. So, quick things, right? Do you feel 40?
It depends on the day and what time of day it is. Because there are days when I get
with you on that.
There are days when I come home from work that I feel like I'm 70.
Oh my gosh.
I'm serious. I can't even walk. I'm so tired.
Okay, is there a video about the dramatic one in the relationship? Zing.
Oh God.
Oh, it's so good. The expressions. The expressions are amazing.
You can't see that stuff. Anyways.
Wait, you signaled me. What am I doing wrong?
No, because
my microphone the wrong way.
No, you started talking and you weren't at the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I was like, people aren't going to hear what you said.
So a funny story is I don't know how to operate my mic in order to put it at a comfortable place. I always find that when I find my comfortable spot, I've been focusing so much on putting the microphone right that I didn't focus on how I'm sitting. So sometimes I'm sitting in a weird angle, but the microphone's just right. And right now I feel like I'm bending in a weird angle, like I'm slouching.
So adjust yourself.
No, because then it makes noise. So it's too late. Freeze tag.
At the end of this episode, you're gonna not feel 40.
I just had a thought. This means we've been around the sun 40 times. Wow. Have you thought about it that way?
No.
That's incredible. 40 times around the sun.
Going back to the trend, the weird one and the boring one. Who thinks about that stuff. I wonder. Okay, I'm
yeah.
going to do a poll,
Ooh, okay.
and I'm going to ask our listeners to see if they consider themselves the weird one or the boring one. And it doesn't have to be in a relationship. It could just be in life.
Yeah.
Are they weird or are they boring?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because we were having a conversation with one of my sisters. Her name is Leah, but we call her Lee. And she said that there used to be a show on, was it MTV? With Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey? Where they documented their lives on TV.
Yeah, right after they got married or whatever.
Okay. And she said that listening to us talking to each other was like listening to Nick and Jessica. And I remember her saying something about Jessica. I remember her saying something about tuna and Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Yeah, the chicken of the sea.
Right. And I feel like I can understand that girl because I understand what she was saying. It's just everyone else who takes it and it's like, oh, that's weird. You're like a ditz for saying that. But it makes sense.
Listen, I'm okay with you being a little bit ditzy.
You know, I was going to tell you that I'm super lucky.
Me.
Yeah, you balance me too, hon. You do. Because you're the steady, you're the consistent, the predictable, right? And I can just run around crazy. Mm-hmm. But I know that you're steady and predictable. And
you're like, and I may get a little backlash on this, but I'm going to say it this way. Mm-hmm. You're like the crazy wild dog that you can't let go in the dog park. Mm-hmm. That has to stay on the leash all the time. Mm-hmm. And when they go a little bit too crazy, you got to like yank them back and bring them and be like, calm down. And then you can let them out again. Yeah, that's you. Anyways, so what are our plans to celebrate this together? Because because our birthdays are only 10 days apart, we celebrate in between. So
actually, whoa, hold your horses there. We normally celebrate them individually. This year, we are going to celebrate them in between. Because it's a special birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. You leave my birthday alone. It's my birthday.
So we celebrate Ketmia's birthday every single year. And for mine, I'm just like, make me some oxtail.
Yeah, that's what I do for you. That's what I do for you. Which is interesting because if we do the celebration in the middle, then that means no oxtail.
No, we're having oxtail.
Yeah, we're
having I don't care oxtail. What you're eating. I'm eating oxtail.
I don't know what we're doing to celebrate. I remember a couple years ago, I went to a friend's birthday. It was her 40th birthday too, and they decided to do like a whole 80s throwback, which was super fun. I love the 80s. I love the 80s music, movies. Yeah.
The 80s?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been fun to do a birthday party to celebrate 40. But with everything that's going on and our desire not to really do it.
That's the thing. It's weird because of COVID and everything like that. Like you can't really do a party. You know, people are kind of wary about going out and socializing with
Isn't it weary?
People. I'm so glad you said that. You said that like right on cue. Like we practiced that.
And we didn't.
We didn't. And I love it.
Am I
love
wrong?
it. You are wrong. So weary.
I just zinged myself.
Oh my God. Weary means you're tired. Wary means that you are apprehensive, hesitant. People also say weary because the word they're looking for is leery, which means very close to what wary means. There you go. Grammar police.
Whatever.
Here.
Whatever. Listen.
With you, throughout the years, I've had to hold back on being the grammar police.
Hold on.
I just have to look away.
I have gotten... Hold on. You got to give me credit where credit is due.
Okay.
and your. I've gotten pretty good at it. Right? And two and two.
Well, you learned to use an apostrophe.
Okay.
Okay.
And hold on.
Using
when
it
I'm
in
confused,
the right sentence.
Hold on. And when I'm confused, what do I do?
You ask.
I ask.
Sometimes.
I'm learning.
And when you don't ask, I don't tell you. Because I'm just trying to be sweet to you. I don't want to always be reminding you about that stuff. But I will admit this. Anytime someone makes a grammatical error, I correct them in my mind. It's like an OCD thing that I just do to myself. Okay, speaking of OCDs. Okay, so I guess like
Wait,
this
hold on.
episode.
So
what?
so people are wary.
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 Wary. W-A-R-Y.
Wary.
Wary.
So people are wary. Go ahead.
What did I say?
You started saying that people were wary
About
getting together.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for bringing me back.
And we're back.
And we're back. So, yes, they're wary about getting together because of COVID, and people can still catch it and all that stuff. So, I don't know. I've never been a party person. Never been a party person. I don't like it. I don't know. I don't like the attention being on me. And so many people. I'm sorry. I'm like all over the place today. So many people are
today
into. Sometimes I am like, give me credit where credit is due. Okay. Sometimes I've got my things together. Okay.
Not today.
Listen, no,
Zing.
not today. Today. You're gonna zing me.
I'm gonna zing you. Listen.
Wow.
I'm trying to find a zing.
No, but you're failing miserably. Anyone listening, please give a boo, a thumbs down if this was a terrible zing. Okay. So you can't try to outdo me.
Yeah. I'm not gonna try anymore.
No, this dog bites back. All right. So where was I going now?
You're not a party person.
I'm not a party person.
Focus on you.
Focus on me.
Nothing yet?
See, this is where I wish... this actually is very helpful.
Said... Okay, hold on. That's not... Lose track.
Yeah.
You said you're not a party person. You don't like for the focus to be on you.
Yeah.
And then you were going somewhere.
I was going... No, I know what I was going to say about that, but then I was merging onto another lane, and then I got zinged. So, okay, well, about that, I've only ever had one party that was thrown. I remember where I was going. I love it. By the way, just a quick shout out to Blue's Clues with Steve, okay?
Not Joe.
Not Joe.
Was horrible.
No, okay. We can't destroy it for the kids. Steve, the OG host of Blue's Clues, taught me something while I'm there watching with my little kiddos, okay? He sang a song, go back, go back, go back, go back to where you were when you forget stuff. Ever since I heard that song, when I forget something, I go back to where I was and I find the thread. It's amazing.
You know what Steve taught me?
I know. He taught you about the planets.
Yep.
I knew it because that's the second thing I learned. We're not going to sing right now. That's another episode. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, sing your song. Go.
No.
Okay.
You've deflated this balloon.
Moving along.
You see, this is why I'm boring. Because
what are you talking about?
Because when I get excited.
Beep beep.
What is that?
That's the Roadrunner.
Can we talk? Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so hold on. So we were having a discussion with one of our listeners.
No, my sister, Lee. She's been mentioned twice this episode already.
Okay. Goodness.
And she
said that our dynamic is like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. And I spend the entire time trying to talk, and I get roadrunned.
Oh boy!
Hold on, I get run
over by the Roadrunner.
Is it run or runned? Runned?
What?
Run.
You get run.
I get run over by the Roadrunner over here sitting across from me.
Sorry.
This is real life, people.
Where's that from?
What?
Sorry.
I don't know.
It's from SNL
Where?
with the little baby hand.
Oh, goodness.
What's her name?
Oh, Kristen Wiig.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I should have a little baby head.
To raise your hand.
Okay.
What you need is a roadrunner to throw at me.
Listen, I actually remember where I was. So, two things. I'm talking about the surprise party, and my merging lane was going to be about people are into like their signs and astrology and all that stuff. Okay, and that floats somebody's boat, right? So, I am not a believer. All right. I'm not a believer in hypnosis. I'm not a believer in any of this stuff. Like, I feel like I am the worst person for anyone to try to pull something over, because I will dissect it and overthink it and overanalyze it to the point where they're like, please leave. Okay? Hence why I keep these thoughts to myself. But I decided to look up, okay, all right. What is a Taurus supposed to be like? Because that's apparently my sign, all right?
A Ford Taurus?
Listen. The description of it was, wait, you just found a comfortable position?
I have found the most incredible and most comfortable position.
And I will give you that as a zing to me after I told you I'm slouched over my microphone, uncomfortable, and you're just like showing off
I'm
how comfortable
reclining
you are.
on a chair with my feet up.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. So, right, I looked it up, and it's such a contradiction, because I feel like all of these descriptions are, you're a little bit tall, but also a little bit short, right? And you're like, yes, I am. I am taller than most people, but I'm also short than most people. And so you can agree to everything in it, okay? But one of the things that
Kind
it
of
said,
tall, kind of short, kind of.
one of the things that it completely missed about me is my dreamy personality. You know, like I'm a little bit out there, like you said, you know, floating around, right? You're stable, you're like the realist and all that stuff. But interestingly enough, I am a person who loves to not plan everything out, okay? Because I feel like that's more like an A-type personality who needs to have a plan for everything. I just like to imagine every possible scenario so that I'm prepared for every possible scenario, because I don't like surprises. See how it all ties together? I don't like to be surprised. So I think about, and some people
With a
call this
splash.
pessimism.
Yep. Splash of pessimism.
There you go. Okay. And I can see how that can be conceived that way. But at the end of the day, I'm not surprised when something goes wrong, because I expected it to go wrong. Which I guess, I mean, if you want to be a psychologist, you can delve in there and say that it's because I want to control the outcome. But I just want to know what the outcome's going to be, so I can, you know, be prepared at best with it. You're complete. What are you doing?
I accidentally hit one of the little things that suspend my mic. So there was a little bit of noise coming into my headset, and I was trying to figure out what it was.
Okay, I'm going to close my loop so that you can talk and I'm not running you over with all my talking, okay? But I don't like to be surprised, hence why I don't like surprise parties. I had one surprise party, and guess what? If it's just my family, great. But there were people there that I don't even remember, like, oh, hi, you're in my house?
Who are
let
you?
you in?
Yeah.
Okay, kind of thing. And so, yeah, that's not enjoyable at all for me. People, when they think about, I mean, again, I think that's part of the extrovert introvert thing. I think extroverts love to have parties and all that stuff. Nah, I'd rather save it to have like a really good meal at a restaurant,
Like Chop City Grill?
like Chop City Grill. Yeah, you know. And that's it. Enjoy it. Oh, and we will be watching This Is 40, which I love.
That's a great movie.
It's a great movie. Now, okay.
Okay,
the
so
floor
hold on.
is yours.
The floor is mine. Let's let's talk about how we celebrated birthdays growing up. Because I know that for
Ooh.
me, it's very different from yours. You had 8.
I'm the oldest of 8.
So
Oh
you
my God, that's why you're boring.
why? I'm bored. I'm no. No.
Yes. Do you know
Why?
what it's like to grow up in a house with 8 children?
I don't want to.
But that's it makes you exciting.
No, it makes you a roadrunner.
There you go. I mean, that's how you have to be.
Anyways, birthdays at home. Goodness, I remember we always had like some sort of like a party and always ended up being at like the park. Like that was the thing. And it was
Okay.
and they still do
since
that.
you're the one who remembers, can you pin for later going to birthday parties?
No, that's
No,
okay.
because I want you to finish and then I want to come back to that.
Okay. So, like I just remember like there was always our birthday parties were almost always the kind of like they were almost like you knew what it was going to be because it was always at Tropical Park.
Okay.
We'd always have like the little gazebo rented out and it was decorated and there was always the table with
You were
the
those
cake.
families
Yep,
that
with
we would look at and be like, how do
With-
you get a
with the little
gazebo?
with the little like the little prepackaged with that that copper clear looking top to cover the pastelitos. The little baby pastelitos and amazing food and
I think that's a great birthday party for kids.
Oh,
You've got
yeah,
the park, you
for
get to
sure.
run around and play, you can have food,
For
and
sure.
the adults can just talk.
but it was it was like you knew that that's what it was going to be and we always had a theme whatever that theme was going to be for that year and
You had a theme.
yeah
Wow.
whatever the theme was if it was Transformers
Wow.
or whatever it was. I'm trying to think like I don't know that I can really remember one specifically for me.
One birthday party for you?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a bad memory about that.
What do you mean a bad
Not-
memory?
My memory is bad
Oh, okay, it's failing you.
because of that.
Because you're
Yes.
40.
Yes.
Sing.
Goodness. She's dying over here, people. Oh, Lordy. Anyways, so my memory is failing to recall one specifically. But I remember we'd always just have it was just that's when everybody in your family just shows up and you just like you don't even know half the people.
Well, my birthdays were very different than yours. And in fact, there's only one birthday that I really remember. Okay, because it was beyond what our normal birthdays were. But we'd never invited family because we were already such a big family ourselves, and most of our family lived a little bit farther away from us. But like you could count on it being, you said there's things that you could count on your birthday having, being at the park, your food and all that stuff. You could count on my mom's sprinkle cake. Okay. And it was just a plain yellow cake that she, instead of putting frosting in the middle between the layers, she would put strawberry jelly in the middle of the layers. Okay. And then she'd make her own frosting. And then you would get sprinkles all over, right? And it wasn't a ton of frosting. It was just enough to cover the cake. And you've got your sprinkles. And that's it. That's your birthday cake. There would usually be birthday hats. And then the birthday song. And that's it. You get your slice of cake.
Are you going to sing the birthday song?
Actually, you know what I was thinking? That we could phone a friend. Didn't we try to do that before?
Well, we talked about doing that, but I don't know. What are you going to do? Just put the phone up to the...
I don't know if they're going to kill me or not.
Who are you calling?
Let's see if she answers.
Do you have it on speaker?
Hi, Bernie.
Hey, darling. So you are live on the This and That podcast.
What?
You are live.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
What's up?
So we're talking about
Hold on a second. Can I just say that I'm like the perfect emergency contact?
because you pick up.
Who else would have picked up?
Well, you've been mentioned twice on the podcast today, and
I thought so.
And I thought, hey, let me phone a friend because we're talking about birthday memories, and
Oh, God.
we want to hear the birthday song.
Oh, my gosh. But I'm not a singer. You should call Mel.
No, we specifically
We
chose
wanted
you.
you.
But which one? What? The birthday song?
Yeah, we can sing Happy.
Okay.
Ready?
But remember, because we're like, let me just sing it because then you're going to throw me off.
Okay, go ahead.
It goes HAPPYBIRTHDAY to you. From our hearts we all sing. Happy birthday, dearest to. This is your day, this is your cake, this is our song, this is our love. These are the words that we sing in our heart. I'm dancing. HAPPYBIRTHDAY to you. From our hearts we all sing. Happy birthday, dearest to. And then it goes into happy birthday.
Exactly. Thank you.
And Denise is the one who probably made up those lyrics.
I did, and actually, I made up the song after we watched
The Rescuers.
the Rescuers Down
Rescuers
Under.
Down Under?
Yes,
Yeah,
they
right.
had because they were the Help Society, the Rescue Aid Society.
Yes, it
and
goes RESCUE, Rescue Aid Society.
Yep. And it was such a great thing. And I made up the words, and it has stayed in our family. For everyone's birthday, you're getting that song and the happy birthday song. So
Peter, we tried doing a FaceTime the other day. I think it was for
Mary's.
Mary's birthday. And then we tried, but because there's like a lag, it was horrible.
There was like an echo.
It was all on repeat.
It was horrible.
It was terrible,
But
but
yeah, bro, we've had that song for years. Every birthday, even as adults, we sing it.
Yeah, that's
The
all.
kids have to learn it.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
sorry.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
I'd be the worst person you can have on the podcast.
no, it's
We
awesome.
go down 3 rabbit holes.
Listen, we go down many rabbit holes.
This is a Roadrunner episode for sure.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm taking care of wounds because I've been run over like 20 times already.
Yeah, and I zing him every time.
Ow. I laugh every time.
Oh
Every
man.
time that she runs over you, I was like, ouch.
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Alrighty, love you.
All right, love you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Well, that was fun.
Hey, that worked out.
That did work out.
And she's a good sport.
She is.
She will sing and she will do that. There is one
Yeah,
in
I'm
particular who would have hung up on me.
I'm thinking the same thing. It would have been like, no. Click.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
but yeah, so I mean, see, to me it's like that's kind of I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of transitioning into childhood, right? But there's just like I feel like you and I had very different upbringings. And not just the upbringing, people think about like, oh, what traditions and all that stuff, but just our life in general
it's
was
very-
very different.
It's very different. I mean, 8 plus your parents, and then it was us 3, plus my parents. And like I don't know, it's almost like I can say we were in like 2 phases. Because I remember when we were in Miami, I know that it was really, really tough for my parents
Financially.
financially.
Okay.
my mom wasn't working for a while because we were born fairly close to each other, but I'm 2 years older than my sister in the middle, and then my little sister is 5 years separated from me. And I mean, that's a good span in between. But in your house, it was like a year, like it was like boom, 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 like one right after another. And, I know that the responsibility financially was longer because there's, three times the amount, of kids in the house.
Right.
But like
and
for
my
us,
mom never had an outside job either.
yeah, and
Her job was just us.
and for us, there was really like I could say that the turning point was when my dad got the job down in the Keys that moved us down there, and then we started going to school, like literally just right down the street. So Jeanette and I could go. Jeanette's my sister in the middle. We would either walk to school, or eventually I would just drive to school. And then Jenny, the youngest sister, would take the bus, and that freed my mom up to be able to go and work. And then my mom got a job at a bank, and like I could pinpoint where things took a turn, because it was available, because of us, finally passing that age. And it kind of happened with us too, with our kids. Like it was at the beginning, it was really hard because of our kids being small. And when our kids got to that age where they were like, there was like that drop over, like things changed for us. It really did help.
We're still talking financially, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I know that like with your parents, like it's hard, because your mom was home for,
Right.
and I'm not saying it as a bad thing, because being financially comfortable doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a happy home.
Right. And so that's kind of right. So to me, I don't know, like I think that I speak for all of my siblings. If I say that growing up the way we did, if they don't think it was like the best childhood, okay? I don't think anyone would say, oh no, I really wish we had money or something. I think our best stories come out of the fact that we didn't have a lot, right? And so were we poor? I don't know that I would classify us as poor. I don't know, because seeing poverty, right? There's poor, and I feel like if you're poor, there's times that you don't eat. And there was always a meal at our house. Granted, there was only one serving, okay? And blasted to all of the people who would show up at dinner time, okay?
to take away.
So I'm going to just tell a quick story about that. Did you want to jump in before I jump in?
I just wanted to shout out to both sets of our parents, because I never felt one side or the other. I don't know if that makes sense.
You didn't feel what? Say it.
Like I didn't feel when they were financially struggling, or when they were finally okay. That there was a difference. Yeah, there was a difference, because they bought a house and we moved into a nicer neighborhood, and my parents were able to get a nicer car, like those things, but not enough for me to say, oh, look at this, we're in
The silver spoon.
In the silver spoon, right?
Right.
And then, like you said, I could speak to any of your brothers and sisters, and I have had these conversations just in the sitting, and never ever has there ever been a mention of, oh yeah, it sucked because we didn't this or we didn't that. It was full. It was full.
And it was because it was full of kids.
Yeah. So like shout out to our parents for doing such an amazing job in their respective difficult situations, because I didn't feel it as a kid. You didn't feel it as a kid. I'm sure that my sisters feel the same.
Our parents felt it.
Our parents felt
Our
it.
parents felt it because let me tell you. So before I jump into the story, I was going to tell. My dad was a truck driver for most of the time that I remember him working. I know he had had several jobs before that, but he ended up landing a truck driving job for an Italian food company. So he'd make deliveries all up the Florida coast. I want to say both sides of the Florida coast. Okay. But he was gone for long times, and he was never gone overnight, but sometimes he would come back at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you say? Okay, never mind. Sorry.
And so that's a hard job. It's a hard job to have. And then the being away, and you still have like all the honey-do lists waiting for you at home. You have all your kids at home, and then just trying to make that extra dollar, to support his family. While I know that there were times where that there was no extra dollar, and somehow he found a way to keep us fed, keep us dressed, give us the best schooling that they could. And, so yeah, I know that they felt it. And then when you're a parent, I mean, we were there eating, half a peanut butter sandwich at one point. But back to the story. This is about my brother Isaac. And so there was a thing where I don't know if this is just like in the people we knew, if this is like a Spanish people thing where they show up at dinner time? Did that ever happen? Okay,
Yep.
wow. So yeah, I
They
get
can
it
smell
that it's
the
a
food.
cultural. I get it's a cultural thing, and food brings people together and all of that stuff, right? But my experience with it as a kid was, for me, I remember being excited anytime someone would show up at our front door because I was like, oh, visitors. Okay, it was always very exciting.
Other humans.
Okay.
They exist.
But I'm saying, like, I think that you could relate to that, like your phone ringing, right? And anybody who had the house phone before as a kid, everybody runs to pick up the phone. It's exciting. The phone is ringing. Over here, someone's at our front door. So yeah, the excitement's there until they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was dinner time. I don't want to be an inconvenience. Oh no. And my mom would insist, no, you come right on in and I'm going to serve you a plate of food. And then she'd be like, bring me your plates of food quick. Right. And it was to take a little bit from everybody to make a whole plate of food. All right. So I always felt that as a kid, I was the smart one. Okay.
Bless you.
Me. Whoa. Allergy season. But I was the smart one. I feel like I caught on to things really quick, and then I would like come up with a way to, I don't know, find loopholes around stuff, right? So I knew the very first thing that she'd take off your plate was meat, because that's what you got the smallest portion of. There was always plenty of rice and there was always plenty of vegetables, but the meat was hard. I always like to save my meat for last because it's the part that I wanted to enjoy the most, right? But if somebody shows up, oh my gosh, you better shove that meat fast into your mouth so that your plate cannot be touched, okay? At least you got something. But this was a regular occurrence, and there was one time where my brother Isaac, I think maybe he was like 8 years old, okay? Somebody shows up at the house, right? This was one of my dad's friends. And my mom's like, oh, let me get you a plate of food. And he's like, oh, no, I couldn't impose. And she's like, sure you could. And Isaac says, actually, you are imposing. Okay? And the whole room just goes completely quiet. And he's like, what? My dad's friend, what? And he's like, yeah, you're taking food from our plates. That's what my mom does. She takes food from our plates to make you a plate.
Dang.
Oh my God. Okay, this is one of those stories that when we tell, we laugh so much because my mom was mortified. We had been raised, you don't ever.
Ice must have been so hungry that day.
Okay,
He must have been
if
like-
he tells the story, what happened was it was like one of his favorite meals. I think that's what it is. And he was just so upset that he'd been looking forward to it, and now it was going to be taken away from him. And not that we didn't get to eat, we still got to eat, but you just didn't get the portion you were getting before. And the guy was so embarrassed, he refused to take a plate. He refused it. Right? And, you know, I kind of have to think about the other people. Like, people knew that my parents didn't have a lot.
At least you know that that person would never come on dinner time again.
I don't know if they did. But it was one of those where, as a kid, you know, just kids say, you know, they say whatever's on their mind. And he just decided to speak his mind.
He wasn't wrong.
No, he wasn't wrong. That's the thing. And he just decided, that's it. I've had enough. I'm revolting. And he said it. And it was just like, oh my God. I know my mom wanted to die. And I think the guy laughed and he was like, no, it's, you know, you're right and all this stuff. But how embarrassing. How embarrassing for my mom. Poor my mom. But yeah, like those kind of things, you know. So what I was going to say about the birthday song is just, I feel like the things that we did as kids, they were special and different. Okay. Like, for example, we used to have a Saturday morning garage sale. Okay. And not that, so in our neighborhood,
to people in the street.
Okay, right. So I meant to no. It was to ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, it was a garage sale for ourselves. Now, the thing that I remember, right, is that we would watch a movie and then we would go outside and play act what we just watched. All right. My dad took us to a garage sale. That was the first time I got bitten by a bee. All right. It may have been like stung by a bee. All right. And it was just such a terrible thing that happened because it was the first time I remember going out to a garage sale with my dad. Who knows what he was looking for. And I found this little walrus that was so cute that I was looking at it. And here comes a bee and just decides to sting me. And it was just my special day, my special experience. And it was ruined by the stupid bee. Okay. So garage sales were not something that we participated in or that we, you know, knew a lot about, but for some reason we must have gone to this one. I remember, I think our church had like a really big one, and we came home and we were like, oh, we're going to replicate it, right? So all of the brothers and sisters were in charge of setting up their own little stands, and you would sell your own little thing for pennies, nickels, maybe a dime. Maybe, okay? Nickels was mostly what you were going to get. But it was awesome, right? Now, to the one who liked to draw, they would draw a ton of little portraits, and they have their art display. That's what they're selling, is their paintings. If you were the one to call it first, we had a grapefruit tree. So if you called it first, you got to go and juice all the grapes and make grapefruit juice, and you actually had a stand to sell something good, okay? If not, you would go around the yard and find nice-looking rocks, smooth rocks, and put out your your rock display, all right? Or whatever little crafts that you made. And the funny thing is, it's like we would all set up, and here came my mom to stop by everyone's stand to see, ooh, what are you selling? Let me look at your drawings. And then she would pick her drawing, if not all, right? And she would pay for them. And she was the one who would go and buy something from everybody's stand. And it was so exciting for us. It would take us hours to set up that stand. Okay, my dad always had like an enormous amount of those bricks. Do you know what I'm talking about? The ones with the 2 holes that you like.
The red brick ones.
No, it's the
goodness, the concrete ones.
Yeah, the concrete blocks.
Like the blocks.
Right, and they have 2 openings, right? I don't know why he always had so many of those around, but we would take them, and that's kind of what we would build our table on. Okay, so we would just, whatever fit on there, that's what we would And so we're sitting on the grass in front of our house selling. And then after my mom was done buying, then we would go into each other's stalls and buy from ourselves. And that was a regular thing that we would set up and do, you know? And it's just like those kind of things were just entertaining for us. We have great stories and memories about doing stuff like that.
Yeah, we had. You guys were 6 girls. So like, it was just me and my 2 sisters. So I know that a lot of my stuff, like those, like that kind of stuff, I ended up. It was more with my cousin, who actually lived. So I don't know if we mentioned this before, but I lived 5 houses away from where you grew up.
I think we mentioned it on our Getting to Know Each Other episode.
And then my cousin was like 2 houses behind you. So I would either go to my cousin's house or my cousin would come to my house, and like we would ride by your house and look in and be like, oh, you know, we thought it was a daycare because of all the kids running around everywhere. But but like a lot of that stuff was with my cousin. So that's where like the stuff that we would do it was all like that. It was me.
Yeah, but
with
you
him.
had you like rode your bikes out, right?
Mhm.
You did
Well,
stuff
we were
like
we
that.
were always out on the street in the corner
We
playing
were
football.
never allowed to go out in the street.
Yeah, we were like legit, like the way that they say it in the movies where you could go out. We had a street sign, a street lamp that was on the corner of the house. And when that lamp went on, it was time for us to go in.
Wow.
And there was times where we would stay out there even past the street lamp.
But even like that memory, like that is a cool childhood memory to have. A lot of kids don't have that nowadays. You know, to be
And
able to.
there were kids that they would all come together and we would all play in the street. It was either playing basketball, riding bike, goodness, I'm sorry. Oh, we both knew Charlie. He lived just down the street, but I'd always be at his house, shooting hoops in his yard. And I remember we were there daily, and then just like little things like that. But like there were things that we would do every single day. And then even when we moved down to the Keys, it changed a little bit because the Keys has a different, I would say a different culture than Miami.
But even more opportunity for you to be out and swimming.
Oh
and
yeah,
doing
we
stuff.
we lived on the canal, so we could go out to the bay, you know, on in a boat or a jet ski.
skis or whatever.
We were playing hockey in the street on rollerblades. You know, football at the school. Like there was just always something that we were doing, but it was always outside. And I don't like I couldn't say that there was a lot that I did together with my sisters that was like the daily hangout or whatever. But there was always something that we were doing. You did everything like internal, I did external.
Yeah, and it's funny because this week I was talking to my brother Isaac about how there's certain things that we're recalling from our childhood, and he's telling me, "Oh no, I don't remember that at all," and I was telling him there's some things that I feel like, where were you? Why were you missing for this? Like one of my sisters recently was cleaning out an old box and she found tapes. And I mean, cassette tapes. She doesn't have a cassette player. All she was thinking, these are probably garbage. But before she threw them out, she decided to buy a cassette player just to see what's on them. And what she found was childhood recordings of us singing, all of us together. And there's like a part there where Isaac is, or that whole first bit, he wasn't even a part of it. So it's, you know, where were you? Why were you missing? And he was always happy entertaining himself. He loved to read about plants. I remember that's another thing that we did a lot. I don't know if you did this, was go to the library. Saturdays, that's the thing we look forward to. Going to the park was a treat. We did that a lot too. Tropical Park, that was it. Like Tropical Park has the mountain that's really like a hill.
Yep.
But in that mountain,
You can ride your bike down the side.
you ride your bike down. There was one time. See, my dad was more like he would indulge our crazy schemes, ideas, things. My mom was more like, no, someone's going to get hurt, follow the rules kind of thing. But we had just watched a movie about snowboarding, sledding. We wanted to sled. And he got us something. It may have even been a cardboard box. Okay, but I know he had something, and he said, okay, go use this and sled. And, of course, everyone wanted to pile on.
Did you ever do rolling down the side of the hill?
Yes, and gosh, I don't know why, but I was
the
always
amount of itching after.
What
it
the
was
heck
the
is that?
worst. And we'd go
Why?
home and be complaining and be scratching and blah,
Do you
blah,
think
blah,
every
blah.
kid was
And
complaining?
then we went right back and did it again.
See, when I say I was smart, that's kind of what I mean.
You didn't?
Nope.
We did all the time.
I did it like twice because I thought maybe the first time it was just I rolled on something and I chose a very smooth thing. I ended up itchy, and I always was jealous of the kids who would roll.
That grass was so itchy.
Why though?
I don't know.
It's
I think
so
it was
crazy
just
because it's so much
yeah.
fun. But I think every kid was up in that little hill playing. You could fly your kite up there. I mean, there was just so much. That's not the landscape we have in Florida.
Right.
So going to the park was fun, but the other thing was, what did I just say? Going Saturdays, the library.
The library.
Okay. We would get to go in there, and I don't remember what the max number of books was that you were allowed to take out. Okay, maybe it was 10. I don't remember. But we would go, everyone would split up, all right? And we would all go find our little corners, and we would just walk away. Everyone just like mountains of books to carry. I'm just going back and thinking, do you know what that was like for my mom to keep track of everybody's taking out all of these books, and if you don't return them, your card gets canceled, you get fines and fees and all that stuff. But that's because we didn't have the entertainment of television.
I remember having to go and renew my library card after we got together. And when I got there, I had fees.
Yeah, I remember too. It was like over $200.
Yep,
and I never went back to the library then. I never did. I don't know how they let me do this, but I took out cards for our kids under their names because I wanted them to grow up with the memory of going to the library. And they did that too because it was just so exciting for me to go and get library books and read and everything.
Can we just say how these kids, we weren't the only ones. There were kids that suffered and never were able to go back because they had library fees. It wasn't their fault.
Yeah, I know, but the library has to operate
Shame
somehow.
on you, public libraries.
But anyway, I mentioned the library thing because of my brother. He would love to take out plant books and all that stuff. And guess what? Nowadays he has the most amazing green thumb. He grows apples and peaches and pears and the most beautiful tulips, right? And
the benefits of living in a place like that.
But what I was going to say is that while, yes, he was missing most of a lot of the things that we did, we also excluded him on purpose. Okay?
Well, the only boy...
No.
Hold on.
Nope. That's not why.
Listen, you can deny that all you want.
He will attest to this himself. We can do another phone a friend.
He's the fourth one down. The fourth one.
And he's not the only boy.
I know. Well,
but the other one was a baby.
But Ben was the last one.
Yes.
So you're talking about that poor boy had to endure. God, Lee, I'm just thinking about it right now.
Well, here's the thing, right? Yeah. Endure? You're making him sound like a victim, okay? Do you know why he was excluded?
Why?
He came up with the hurricane song. Okay. I don't know if it was Andrew, what happened, No, it couldn't have been Andrew. I don't know what it was. He had an obsession with hurricanes.
I've never heard this.
Oh, okay. And so the song went kind of like, hurricane, hurricane, go away, hurricane, hurricane, something. Okay? It was like that, right? So he would come and say, can I play with you guys? This is when we are trying to play quietly. We're setting up. We're doing store. That's another game we used to play, right? Store. And he would be like, please, can I play with you guys? And we'd be like, no, go away. And he would go tell my mom, oh, I want to play with them and they don't let me. So she would come and she would say, please, girls, play with him. Okay? We would be like, Mom, he destroys everything. He can't play with us. And she would be like, are you going to be good? And he was like, I promise, Mom, I promise. And she'd be like, please give him a chance. And we'd be like, if you even dare destroy anything, you'll never play with us again. And he would be like, okay. So he'd sit there, right? I think maybe he would last, I don't know, as a kid, I can't really tell time. Maybe let's give him 10 minutes. That he actually was a good boy and he sat there and he did what we told him to do. Okay? But I don't know if it was boredom or if it was his plan all along. Out of nowhere, he would start singing the song, stick his arms out to the side and start twirling around, spinning, knocking everything down. If we had just set up tables and a tent, whatever it is that we were playing, he would make sure that in the span of 30 seconds, he had completely wrecked everything that we had put up. Okay? This is the hurricane song. Okay? This is why he was excluded every time that we played. And to this day, he laughs. Okay? And I feel bad because I think he was probably just bored and that he was just mischievous. That's just who he was, right? But as a kid...
What if he was like that because you were excluding him?
Nah.
Oh.
He was just mischievous.
Oh, I don't know.
But we love him.
I'm on his side. Goodness. Those were good memories. It's good to think back.
Oh, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg.
I know that's so little... that we started to talk about, but
one other thing I wanted to ask you about are the place we grew up. Do you know the haunted house?
So we've talked about this.
But not on the podcast, though.
No, I know, but you took me to that haunted house. It's no longer haunted. It's actually very beautiful right now because they redid it all.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think that's right.
But
did you drive past it?
I never knew it as that.
You never saw it as an oh no, it was just my imagination then?
The thing is, I don't think we ever went down that way.
Oh, okay.
So it wouldn't have been in our route to get out of the house.
So yeah, there was a few times that my mom wanted to go on a walk with us and she'd let us ride our bike outside. That's how we would go out there. And it was like, please, let's go by the haunted house. And all it was a house that was in disarray in our neighborhood. Like parts of the walls were falling down. The grass was super tall. But we could swear that there was a red light that would turn on there. Okay. And I don't know if it was just like a street light.
It was a toaster.
But yeah, it was haunted and it was exciting to know there was a haunted house in our neighborhood. But...
the tip of the iceberg. There's so
many
much
stories. Yeah. Oh my gosh, my mind. That's I think why I was so scatterbrained. My mind was going into so many directions. Of, I want to say this, but we'll have plenty of time to touch on all of those. But happy birthday!
Well, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
The big 40. So you're going to be 40 before I am.
No, you mean I am 40 before you are.
Yes.
Because we're a couple days after my birthday. Even though I got to tell you, I agree with you about the feeling old on certain days. But that's not old. It's just your bones creak and your body hurts. But I do not feel 40. I don't feel 40 at all. I feel like if you told me that I was like 34, I'd be like, yeah, I feel 34.
I feel like a strong 39. Anyways,
oh man!
The next time that you join us, I will be a strong 40 because that will. that will be.
The beard also makes you look older for anyone who thinks that you do look older. If he takes off that beard,
I'm like 4.
he looks like Babyface Nelson.
What?
You got to look him up.
Okay, I guess we will.
He was a mobster.
Yeah.
A mafia guy. I love the mafia. I mean, I
What?
like those movies.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I think this is one of the most
nostalgia going down memory line is good.
So we got to really dig in and kind of think of some of the stuff that we would do for our birthdays and just kind of some stuff growing up.
For our early trips around the sun.
Yeah. So much fun to share that with you. Please come visit us on our website or on Instagram and leave us a message. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Share some of your childhood stories. What are some of the things that you used to do for birthdays? We would love to hear that. I think it's really cool to see a lot of the traditions that families do, and to see if they carry on, through the different generations. But we will definitely read all your comments, because we love doing that. We love hearing the feedback. We love reading stuff. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, share this podcast with someone who you think might enjoy it. Come back next week, and we will see you then.
See you next time.
Goodbye.